So, hello, good afternoon. I'm happy to have you in this workshop, or what is it, the detailed breakout session. So there are so many wordings on those sessions. Yeah, more or less, we speak about a megatrend. CSRD or ESRS is a very important thing for companies arising. I would like to spend a deeper dive into this issue, and I would like to explain how companies can more easily report with some helpful tools and maybe consulting behind. What will you expect? Just really a short overview on FIRES, of course, and the main point will be the ESG reporting with FIRES and the live presentation. And I will be joined by Bettina Schragel from Semperit, because she's working with a real solution, and I think it's helpful to get this feedback, direct feedback from a company as well. So let's start with FIRES. FIRES has nothing to do with any kind or sort of fire or whatever. FIRES is an acronym for Financial Reporting System. Our company is about 35 years old, and we pretty much focus on reporting in terms of annual reports and sustainability reports, and give tools and advice to companies. Generally speaking, I have some slides, and I don't get into the details of all slides. You can get this afterwards in terms of a handout. So what is this FIRES system? It's a disclosure management system. And what we do is we are integrated in the Microsoft universe. So you usually work with Word files, with Excel files, and FIRES is integrated as an add-in in both Word and Excel files, which is demonstrated by this magenta-colored dots. And what you do afterwards is you report in your universe. Let's say you use this system to have an so-called clear layout of your document. It's fully prepared. You have headlines which are always the same. You have integrated tables which have a consistent form. And this is quite helpful because you combine your data system and your reporting Word document and to have a pretty interesting and attractive report at the end. And moreover, it's important to know that you will publish in any format you will need for your own needs and to fulfill the legal requirements, such as for example, also the XBRL publication at the end of your sustainability statement, for example. So I don't leave too much time on these pages. In general, we speak about an end-to-end process. You have data sources, financial data, ESG data. We are able to digest all these data and import them over the Excel file into the Word document. And at any stage of time, you are able to make an update. For example, when if the auditor or the management board needs the status quo of your report, you can easily update everything, and it's in the final layout and always nice to handle. What is important to know that you don't have any media break, so it's a little bit like home improvement in the reporting world. So you can do it yourself. You can write your report. You don't need any agency to prepare your pages. You do it on your own. You always see what you get. And this is a quite decisive issue in terms of time and cost saving. Some examples how what we did in the past. So we have two different vehicles. It's at the left-hand side the so-called exclusive layout. This is a special layout for those customers who need a very sophisticated, very special publishing and complicated layout. On the right-hand side, you see our premium layout, and if you talk with us, we pretty much prefer to work with a premium layout. Why is that? Because you will have more flexibility and more possibilities to change anything in your report. We will dive into it a little bit in more details when we speak together with Bettina. One word on XBRL. Those companies who are ESEF or subject to the ESEF publication will have to tag their reports, the notes and the main financial statements with a machine readable format, and in most cases you will have to use XBRL. And additionally, in the ESG reporting, you will also have to tag your sustainability statement, and you will need those XBRL taxonomies and a technique. And what we do in FireSys is we integrate this tagger, the tool to tag your report in the software, in your Word document and in our Excel world, and you can directly tag your information in the report. This is a little bit too much at this stage of time. It's just to show that we are able to take everything from ESG pre-system and to take those informations and transfer it into our disclosure management system. To cut a long story short, I would like to spend more time in the live presentation. A few words on the current status of the mandatory reporting. I think, and we know that, the game changer is that you will have to integrate ESG into the management report. According to the CSRD or ESRS, you have to integrate that in the management report in a specific chapter. On the one hand side, it's you have to work alongside the ESS, the standard. You have to initially to make a double materiality analysis to define what do I have to report and what is not relevant for the report, and then you can start with your editor's work. This is one thing, and additionally you also have to integrate all tables and templates which are necessary to comply with the EU taxonomy on the left-hand side. So this is the game changer, and at the end of the day, as I already mentioned, you have to, you have to tag this sustainability statement. That's a quite big hurdle for those companies which are not publicly listed, because they are not accustomed to report complicated annual reports or sustainability reports, and they don't have any experience in ESEF tagging. EU taxonomy, I think most of you are familiar with that. We speak about 6 environmental objectives which are defined, and from every year the intensity of reporting was higher than before. So in starting next year, we will have to explain, to report taxonomy aligned for all these 6 objectives, and this is also quite makes the reporting quite difficult. This is an example which relates to the disclosure requirements of a non-financial company. I think you are familiar with the templates for turnover, share of OPEX and CAPEX of sustainable activities. And this is just an example. On the right-hand side, I put down the useful links out of the legislation and publication of the journal, the public journal of the EU, just if you would like to have a deeper dive into the details. At the end, it's a quite tough adventure to get to the peak of the mountain. You will see that in Germany, for example, the number of companies who are subject to reporting requirements of CSRD is increasing from close to 600 to 15,000. I think in Switzerland we speak about 300 right now and more than 3,500 in the future. So the user group will be significantly expanded over time. And there are additional requirements. You have to make an audit on the report or on the sustainability statement, and you will have to make a publication in a machine-readable format, as I explained or mentioned before. This is a timeline and the staggered timetable for the scope of application of the CSRD. The big companies which are already reporting according to the NFRD in the EU or in Switzerland, it's the adaptation of NFRD. That are those companies having more than 500 employees. They already have to start in the next year in the EU scope. And my understanding is that it's still in the legislation in Switzerland is still in process and ongoing. So that means maybe the Switzerland is following 1 year after the EU, but it's already pretty clear the Swiss companies have to cope with that in the next 1 or 2 years. And I think the main bulk of the companies that's here, the large companies which are not publicly listed or capital market oriented, they have to come on board, and it's pretty new, that field, and it's very challenging and very intense. I added this Swiss flag here in this line because there are 2 exposures of Swiss companies. First, by those companies which are active or have activities in EU countries. And if you have more than 150 million euro net turnover, you will be in the scope of application. But my understanding is that even the Swiss legislation sees to adopt widely the EU regulation that would translate to companies which are in this line. It means 250 employees and balance sheet total and net turnover with that numbers and figures. So it's not quite clear yet what will come in Switzerland. I have another slide in 1 or 2 minutes. The ESS said, I think that is nothing I have to explain in detail, or is there somebody who would like to get that explained? Oh, I see. So just the headlines, the disclosure requirements start with the ESRS 2 section, which is for every company. It's a mandatory chapter and standard. Everybody has to disclose following to that. And the topical standards in the E column, social column, and governance, that's widely up to the result of your materiality analysis. So that will translate to a big variety of different reports, because depending on the sector, depending on your own company, you will see big differences between the sustainability statements. Let's get to the XBRL tagging. This issue is still ongoing, even in the EU, because The taxonomy, which was created by EFRAG, is still in the process to be finalized. The current status of the taxonomy, and I show you this picture on the right hand side, this sort of tree and hierarchy of elements you will use to take your sustainability statement. Those taxonomies have been presented and finalized in summer 24. Now it's up to the ESMA to define the RTS, the technical standards, which software companies and even the users have to use afterwards. And we tested that stage of taxonomy in so-called field test working groups, and our takeaway was that it's quite complicated, very intense, because you have much more data points to report on compared to the ESEF reporting. You see new elements, so-called enumeration or typed access elements, which is necessary to bring some individual informations on your company into the report. And our recommendation of those who are very familiar with that complicated issue, orient your ESG report closely, maybe 100% to the standard, because you have to use this taxonomy reflecting the standard to take your report. And if you make an individual report and you have references to all to a different chapter in your management report, it's quite complicated to find the right elements and to tag with. So our recommendation is use the standard as a clear structure and use to more easily tag your information with the tagger. The remaining questions for companies in the EU is, when do I have to tag my report? Originally that was planned for the start with the first user group in next January, but we know that the work is not be done so far. So realistic is that we will expect that the taxonomy will be finished and the law will be published not before the second half of 25, maybe it's even 26. And in Germany we have this special situation that the CSRD transformation law is not finished. We have some political challenges right now, and we will see when that law will be done. And in Germany, if it's the draft of the government sees the start in 27, that means 2 years later than originally planned. I don't know exactly what will happen, but it could be maybe the same on the EU level, because everybody knows that it would be too much for the companies to do everything at the first step into the sustainability statement. There's a clear word from the EU Commission. They said until the adoption of the amendment of the regulation, neither tagging of the sustainability statement nor preparation of the management report in XHTML format is required. That means only then you will start your tagging. I already stressed some point with respect to the Swiss situation. I think there's a clear trend to adopt the regulation of the EU. Usually Switzerland intends to, let's say, have an approach which takes more care about the competitiveness of the companies. But there's one big difference. Now we have still the old word of non-financial NFID, and what is planned is that this is here this note that the companies in Switzerland should start already from 25 the year 2025 to tag the statement, and the problem is that we don't then there's no specification on the technical standard. Is it XBRL or is it something else? And everybody expects that it should be an XBRL format, but the taxonomies you need to really tag your management are not finished yet. So the GRI, which is already in process, is expected to publish in January a draft of the taxonomy. The EU taxonomy for ESRS is still ongoing, so we will see how companies will be able to realize that, and maybe we will have another note or a press release from the authorities how to deal with that. The most important takeaway is that the GRI remains the relevant standard for Swiss companies. The good news is if you work in accordance to GRI, you already have more than 50% of the work done looking on the ESRS. The bad news is the other half, of course, you have to also to invent and to type and to write and to disclose. But GRI companies have already a good starting position, and the interoperability index, which was published by the GRI Association or GRI themselves, shows how ESRS on the one hand side and GRI goes together or go together. And this is also a link you can use when you see our handout electronically afterwards. So maybe it's feeling like that. It's like a big monster, the whole regulation on ESG, and the question is how to tame this monster. And if you have the right tools and the right partners and the right consulting, maybe you will make that, and you will be successful with that. So I would like to take the opportunity and show you for some few minutes just an example for our FireSys documents. I put this here, so just a second. So as I explained, we use a Word as a backbone, and everything is inside of this Word document. And if you see those buttons in the first menu, you see the FireSys buttons, which are necessary to make format, layout, and for example to browse for your Excel files and Excel tables, or to look after the so-called stories or partial documents, which make up the whole document, the master document. So, and what you see here is our ESG template. That means it's a structural Word report following the structure and index of the ESRS. On the left-hand side, you see the all the headlines and sub-headlines, and everything is prepared to follow this structure. And if you look on, for example, on tables, I will enlarge a little bit the view here. You see the disclosure requirements on E16 that translates to the GHG emissions you have to disclose. And there's a template you have to use in your report. You see the template or the table in the report, and this is linked to the Excel file, which is you can see here. And if you change numbers here, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, you say that's the new value. I have to change in the report. You get back to your report and say, okay, please make an update. And then the system will check, is there anything different to the last status quo? And if there's something new, that will be highlighted in this with that color. Also, the sum ups, so where you have some calculations on that. This is how the data world in Excel works together with the Word document. So what we did is we have all the headlines, the complete structure of ESRS. We have all tables which are explicitly part of the topical standards included. It's, I would say, it's a plug-and-play solution to start with your editor's work. And that brings me to the closer look of a company into the FireSys world. And that's why I would like to have Bettina on stage. Please join me. And I get back to our presentation. So, premium layout. That's it. Bettina, we spent some words about in the prep call or prep the conversation, I would say, on the challenges of how to cope with all the reporting requirements. First question is, there's a big market of different possibilities how to make a report. What was the main reason to make a choice on the FireSys disclosure management? What was the main point for you?
So yeah, thank you very much that I can join this discussion. Honest answer, I mean, I looked it up with Semperit because I joined Semperit 1.5 years ago, and it was not so easy to find the initial starting point with FireSys and Semperit. It was at least back in 2017 or 2016. So people have changed since that time. I can't give you the initial reason, but I can talk about a former company, real estate company, which I worked formerly to Semperit, and there we also had the decision to switch to FireSys. I think it was back in 2015 or 2016. Back at this time, the consolidation was already working with FireSys, so meaning notes were done with the FireSys system, and the management report, which was under my responsibility, was typically done Word document and an external graphic designer. And at some point in time, we realized that not only with regard to costs, but also with regard to time management, especially when it comes up to the last mile or the last, I would say 2 days or the last night before the report went out, when you have to make some changes in such a document and you need an external designer, and it could be the greatest external designer, but it takes you time. So you send the document and then you have to wait for 2-3 hours. And so on the other hand, we had the consolidation department, and then we decided also, I mean, of course, we had a look at different systems. I mean, I also had some, back at this time, because I was formerly I was a financial journalist, I was used to work with InDesign, so content management systems like this also, I had a look at it, but then it was really with regard to the overall Microsoft environment, so also that newcomers are more or less used to it, how to work with it, and especially also the data integration, which you have mentioned. If figures change, I mean, everybody of us knows in a perfect world, the master file is completely ready 3 weeks before you publish the report. In praxis, this is not the case. Things always can change, and with this regard, yeah, it helped a lot. And so this was the main motivation, the main reasons, and yeah, I must say, so for the last 8 years, we have used it.
And that's very helpful and interesting. When I'm right, you started with the exclusive layout. That means the more or less a little bit more sophisticated, individualized format, and then you make the decision that you will get back, or you will change to the other product, to the premium layout. I just put some information in the background for that. And why is that, and what are we able to do with that? The main question I wonder what was the main reason to make this change? Is it an easy change, and why did you do that? And what is the overall target, maybe in terms of a strategic plan of the company to standardize software?
Yeah, I mean, we made the change, or we made the decision this year, so it's only a few months away from us. I mean, originally there was the customized solution, and I mean, it always sounds good, customized, exclusive, it's according to my wishes, but as in many cases, we made the experience, and as I said before, the first version dates back about 8 years, 7, 8 years. I mean, since that time also people have changed. So always there have been a little bit adaptations, and we really saw that it does not work so well for us anymore. And also with regard to our overall strategy, separate, just also with IT, just is doing a big project with regard to standardization, so meaning we are just putting 23 ERP projects we have into one. It's a huge project, so I cannot compare it with the reporting tool, but it is the same. So we are going back to the beauty of standardization, because it's easier to handle. It's in the end costs less money, because all the updates are integrated automatically, and you don't have to take care. Yeah, but this was my former wish, and we have to adapt it again. And in the end, I mean, we have a good cooperation with FISys, but in the end, also the goal is to decrease our dependency on you as a provider. So meaning we want to be as autark as possible.
It's in terms of do-it-yourself, it gives you all the means to change and make changes or adoptions. And what we showed here in just a quick view on that you can almost change everything which is necessary to change the style of your report. You can change fonts, font sizes. You can use your company color. You can have 1 column, 2 column, whatever, and do much more things. And on your own, you don't need any agency. You don't need us to send back the files. So it's time saving, and at the end, as you already mentioned, it's cost saving, and that's why we recommend to our customers to think about the premium layout, because it's a plug-and-play solution for almost every company. Maybe to put some color on the difference between an exclusive layout and the premium layout, I just on 2 slides I have a sample or example out of the management report. Those 2 pages in the middle and on the left, and another part of the notes where we have the segment reporting. This is the exclusive layout. And when I skip to the premium layout, there is not really a very big difference. The same fonts, the same colors, the same integrated graphs or diagrams, and maybe you will have to adjust the highlight if you would like to. There are some special formats on those highlights, but all in all, it's the same CD or a corporate identity. And you explained me before you changed also the page layout, which is, when I get back to the exclusive layout, you see here is more white and inside small.
Yeah. The reason was originally, and this also dates back to prior years. Originally, it was conceived as report for printing, and therefore it was centered this way. But I would say for the last at least 2 years, we do not really print our financial reports anymore. I mean, we have a certain number for our AGM so that shareholders can have a look of it, but we do not print 300, 400, 500 pieces and send them to investors. And so therefore now the clear goal is to make a report which is optimized as PDF report or to read it on the internet, and so therefore, yeah, we have centered it in the middle, and so if you flip through the PDF, the pages do not jump anymore, and it's more reader-friendly.
It's better to read.
I think it was absolutely no problem to make this change. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is quite important to know that you are flexible in using the premium layout, and you will use a combination of premium layout, which we see here, additionally with the ESG template, which I showed you in the Word universe. What the reason for your decision to say, okay, so we have the financial reporting on that system, we also will do our ESG disclosure with FireSys?
Yeah, I mean, the starting point also was here that for 2024 we are doing our first integrate report. I mean, we did some separate non-financial report already for 7 years, but it was a special report which was prepared by our ESG team and which was also done in the old manner, writing in Word and sending it to an external graphic designer. So now for 2024 we have to integrate the non-financial statement as part of the management report, as you have mentioned before. And yeah, I mean, there was only the decision, either we do it with the same system or we are going for a new system for all, for us, for consolidation for the ESG team. And so, of course, we did, I mean, of course, we had the in-house experience and we had a closer look to your ESG tool. And I think here also, once again, as I mentioned before, our ESG colleagues are first-time users, so they are used to all the Microsoft environment. It's easy for them to use. And also the tables you have mentioned before, I mean, those tables which are legally required, there you have a specific layout and you just have to fill it. And this have been the main reasons. I mean, we use also the tagging for our financial information from FireSys. Luckily, we do not need to tag the non-financial statement for 2024, but we will need to take it for 2025, so it won't cause a problem. So yeah, so more or less we have a one-and-all solution.
Thank you, Bettina. I think we have still some minutes to go, and would like to answer any question from your side. Do you have any question we can answer right now, or is it everything is clear? Or? There's one question. Thank you.
In terms of IT, is it a cloud solution or is it the company-based solution? And where are the files saved? Is it within the corporate infrastructure or?
Yeah. We use the infrastructure of the company. It's no cloud tool, so you usually have you work on SharePoint or you work in your program manager. How do you say that? The usual the usual way where you have all collected all your data for the report on your database. Or SharePoint, as I explained, but it's not an online or cloud solution. What I'm interested for would be for in terms of preparation on the CSRD or ESRS. At what stage are you? Do you already prepare in your reports in a system? Or is it still preparing or digest the materiality analysis? Is there where are you right now in preparation of the ESG report of the future?
So who is reporting against CSRD already? Starting next year.
Okay.
We attended a conference about this for Swiss companies, and even the large ones, the SMI companies, are not
giving a full CSRD disclosure this year, and that's the wave one.
Mm-hmm.
Then the wave two will be when all companies are obliged to do it according to Swiss law, and that's beyond 2025.
Okay, so I assume that most of you will use a GRI for the time being, which is, as I explained, a very useful first step, because you will cover 50–55% according to the interoperability of both standards. Okay, so we will see anyway whether the legislation will bring more clear view on what you will have to do. It's somehow a challenge even in the EU, because some definitions are not done so far. So it will be a very tough thing to deal with, and I wish you all the best for this preparation. I have got to thank you, Bettina.
One remark, one recommendation from my side for your coming ESRD reports, because this is one experience we are also just have in Austria with regard to recommendations, from recommendation or references from your non-financial statement into other parts of the management report, of the remuneration report, of the governance report. Please connect at an early point with your auditor, because this was one experience we made. All four auditors here have different opinions on how are you allowed to make a reference. Is the whole, for example, is the whole corporate governance report audited each and every year, or are they willing at this point of time only say, okay, you are allowed to make reference to the table in the corporate governance report, and I as an auditor only audit this table. So it's all manageable, but I made the experience that it would be here really recommendable to early connect with the auditor.
Thank you very much for this insight. We prepared some flyer on the ESG template and the fire system, as well on the premium layout, if you would like to have a takeaway and to think about those stuff we explained today. At this stage, I would say we have got everything. Many thanks to you for your attention. Bettina, many thanks once again for your insights, and we wish you a very successful day today, and then a good season looking on 25 in the preparation of the next reports. Bye-bye.